the hidden reason your brain won't shut up. Psychology of overthinking. There's a moment almost everyone knows. You lie down at night, exhausted after a long day, expecting your mind to finally rest. The room is quiet, the lights are off, nothing dangerous is happening. But suddenly, your thoughts begin moving faster than ever. A conversation from 3 years ago replays in your head. A small mistake starts feeling enormous. You imagine future disasters that haven't happened. You analyze people's words, facial expressions, and hidden meanings until your brain feels physically tired. And somehow, even when your body desperately wants sleep, your mind refuses to stop. This experience is called overthinking, and psychology suggests it's far more complicated than simply thinking too much. In reality, overthinking is deeply connected to the brain's survival system, emotional memory, fear response, and need for control. The disturbing truth is that your brain often believes overthinking is helping you survive. That's why it becomes so difficult to stop. The brain is designed to search for danger. Human beings evolved in dangerous environments. Thousands of years ago, survival depended on constantly detecting threats. The humans who noticed danger early were more likely to stay alive. As a result, the human brain became highly sensitive to uncertainty, mistakes, rejection, and risk. Psychologists sometimes describe the brain as a prediction machine. Its job is not to make you happy. Its job is to keep you alive. And because of that, the brain naturally focuses more on negative possibilities than positive ones. This psychological tendency is known as negativity bias, the brain's habit of prioritizing threats, failures, and danger over peaceful or neutral experiences. This is why your mind can ignore 10 compliments, but obsess over one awkward interaction for days. The brain believes negative experiences contain important survival information. So it keeps replaying them, not to torture you intentionally, but to prepare you. Why overthinking feels productive. One of the biggest reasons overthinking becomes addictive is because it creates the illusion of control. When people overthink, they often feel like they are solving problems before they happen. The brain interprets deep analysis as preparation. If I think about every possible outcome, the mind says, maybe I can avoid pain. This creates a temporary emotional reward. Neuroscience suggests that uncertainty creates anxiety in the brain. Overthinking temporarily reduces that anxiety because it makes people feel mentally active instead of helpless. Even if the thoughts are stressful, the brain prefers stressful certainty over complete uncertainty. In simple terms, thinking feels safer than not thinking. This is why many overthinkers struggle to just relax. Relaxation requires uncertainty. It requires letting go of control. And for an anxious brain, that can feel terrifying. The connection between anxiety and overthinking. Overthinking is closely linked to anxiety disorders and chronic stress. When someone experiences anxiety, the brain's threat detection system becomes hypersensitive. The amygdala, the part of the brain associated with fear and emotional reactions, becomes highly active. At the same time, stress hormones like cortisol increase in the body. This creates a constant feeling that something is wrong, even when nothing dangerous is happening externally. As a result, the mind begins scanning for problems continuously. People with anxiety often believe that if they stay mentally alert enough, they can prevent bad things from happening. But the brain was never designed to stay in survival mode permanently. Eventually, constant mental alertness becomes exhausting. Sleep suffers. Focus weakens. Emotional stability decreases. And small problems begin feeling emotionally overwhelming. Ironically, the more exhausted the brain becomes, the harder it becomes to stop thinking. Why the brain replays painful memories. One of the strangest aspects of overthinking is how often the mind revisits embarrassing or painful moments from the past. Psychology suggests this happens because the brain dislikes unresolved emotional experiences. When something emotionally uncomfortable happens, rejection, humiliation, guilt, conflict, the mind tries to solve the memory by replaying it repeatedly. The brain searches for a better response, a missed detail, a different outcome, a way to prevent future embarrassment. But because the past cannot be changed, the cycle never truly ends. Instead, people become trapped in rumination, repetitive negative thinking focused on distress and regret. Research in cognitive psychology has linked rumination to increased levels of anxiety, depression, and emotional exhaustion. The brain believes it is fixing the past, but in reality, it is reopening emotional wounds repeatedly. Intelligent and self-aware people often overthink more. Interestingly, overthinking is often associated with higher levels of self-awareness and analytical thinking. People who are highly observant tend to process more information from their environment. They notice subtle emotional shifts, hidden meanings, social tension, and possible future consequences more intensely than others. This increased awareness can create intelligence and emotional depth, but it can also create mental overload. The brain starts treating every detail as important. Every imagining problems. Overthinking steals attention from real life. And slowly, people begin surviving life mentally instead of actually living it emotionally. Why peace feels uncomfortable to some people. One of the most overlooked psychological truths about overthinking is this: some people become emotionally attached to mental chaos. When the brain spends years operating in anxiety and hypervigilance, stress begins to feel familiar. And the human brain is strongly attached to familiarity, even unhealthy familiarity.